Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Today we are talking about some Lorac Pro 4. I have been so excited for this palette. I talked about this on my Instagram months ago when I first saw that they were releasing it. I posted about it. I am a Lorac collector. I love Lorac's formula. If you're not familiar, Lorac's formula is a little bit powdery to some people, and it is a little bit powdery. I fully get that, but I prefer a more powdery type of finish and formula on an eyeshadow just because I feel like they blend a lot better than eyeshadows that are really stiff. So I do just want to chat about this newest release today and share with you guys my thoughts, swatches, comparisons, all of that fun stuff. So if you are interested in watching, then let's just go ahead and get started. All right, so without further ado, this is the Lorac Pro 4. It is so beautiful. I love the outer packaging. I love the kind of like fall vibes it's giving me. And it fits in really well to the other palettes. So this is what the inside looks like. When some people first saw this, they were thinking boring. Like, people were kind of harsh about this palette. And I agree. It's not super colorful. It's not out of the box. I get it. However, as somebody who has a full-time job, like outside of YouTube, and who goes into the marketplace every day, I can appreciate a good neutral palette. And I think a lot of us can. And also, I feel like Lorac, that's just what they do. You know what I mean? Like yes, they put out some limited edition, collections that are a little bit more trendy, but overall, their staples in their line are neutral, are for the everyday woman. So I kind of understand why they did what they did and putting out this palette. And I think it was a smart move. And it's really beautiful, especially if you like the warm tones. However, it's not overly warm. So Lorac, again, you get 8 mattes and 8 shimmers. 8 mattes on top, 8 shimmers on bottom, the same as every other Pro palette. It goes for 44 bucks. It's now available at Ulta and at Kohl's. I was actually saving an Ulta gift card to buy it, but then it was available at Kohl's and I really wanted it, so my boyfriend surprised me and bought it for me, so kudos to him, he gets brownie points. But it's not overly warm, and let me tell you why. The shade Pecan and the shade Rosebud are a little bit more cooler toned. Rosebud is like a light mauvey brown, and then Pecan is like a light, kind of cool, more neutral brown. Cognac is also very neutral. It's not warm. Brulee is also very neutral. Really, the only two like matte warm shades you're getting are Warm Ginger and Amaretto. Everything else is pretty neutral. Now down here, sure, you're getting a couple more warm shades. You're getting Begonia, you're getting Merlot, but Candlelight, a very neutral gold. Iced Rose, it's a little bit of a warm rose, but it's not overly warm. Everything is neutral with a slant towards warm. It's not like a full-on, really rich, orange, bright palette, which I like, again, because I work outside the home every single day, so I can't be wearing, like hot pink eyeshadow to work. I can't do that. So I really am into this palette. Let me share with you guys kind of my thoughts on how it compares to the other 3. So let's look at it versus the Lorac Pro 1. As you guys will see, there are some similar shades. Sure, you look at Rosebud and you look at Mauve and you think, oh yes, those are really similar. But swatched out, they're actually quite different. They're not the same. Mauve is definitely a little bit more cool toned, has a little bit more gray in there than Rosebud does. And to be honest, that's kind of the only one. Like Candlelight and Gold in the Lorac Pro 1 is a lot warmer and deeper than Candlelight in the Pro 4. Garnet and Begonia. Again, Garnet in the Pro 1 is a lot deeper and richer than Begonia. Begonia is a little bit more pinky, where Garnet's like a true shimmery red. So there's definitely some difference there. Now, versus the Pro 2. So let's look at that. So again, you can kind of say, okay, there's not really a whole lot of mattes that overlap. Now let's look at it versus the Pro 2. There's not really a whole lot of mattes that overlap at all. There's not actually any that I find similar, even in the pan. And then through the shimmers, you might look at Chrome and think, oh, is that similar to Silver Mauve in the Pro 4? It's not. Silver Mauve and Chrome are different. Chrome's a little bit deeper in the Pro 2. Silver Mauve's a little bit lighter. Cocoa and Java. No, Cocoa is definitely a little bit warmer from the Pro 2, where Java is a little bit more neutral and not as deep brown. So you get some differences. Now let's look at it versus the Pro 3. So you think, okay, this one is, the Pro 3 is very nude, right? So you think, okay, surely there's gonna be some overlap. Well, let's see here, Brulee and Canvas. Canvas is definitely more like khaki, where Brulee is more peachy. You think, okay, what about Pink Nude and Pecan? Well, Pink Nude is a little bit lighter, where Pecan is just a little bit deeper and a little bit more neutral, not as warm. Terracotta and Warm Ginger. No, Terracotta has way more yellow in it than Warm Ginger does. Dark Brown and Cognac. Dark Brown from the Pro 3 is a lot lighter than Cognac in the Pro 4. Going to the shimmers, you think, okay, what about Medallion and Candlelight? No, Medallion is a lot lighter, a little bit more bronze, where Candlelight is more gold. You think Light Pewter and Silver Mauve. Again, no, they're different. Where like Silver Mauve is a little bit deeper than Light Pewter in the Lorac Pro 3. Dark Mocha and Java. Dark Mocha is definitely a little bit more chunky and has a little bit more shimmer in it than Java actually does in the Pro 4. So as you guys can see, there's really not a ton of overlap between the Pro 4, 1, 2, and 3. And I appreciate that. I think Lorac, you know, they put out one of these palettes, I think, around like every 2 years, roughly. And I appreciate that because with so many palettes coming out nowadays, there's a lot of repeat shades. You know what I mean? Like you can get a new palette from another brand and say, okay, well, I have that shade in this palette and that shade in this palette, and it gets to be too much. Whereas with Lorac, everything is very well placed, and I think everything just kind of has its own place in the collection. For example, with this one, you're getting really neutral, slightly deeper matte highlight shades, whereas in the Pro 3, you're getting more like yellowy, khaki kind of tones. In the Pro 2, you're getting, again, buff is a very yellow matte shade. In the Pro 1, you're getting just like a straight up white and a pinky cream. So there's definitely just some difference, and I can really appreciate that. And I just think that Lorac did a really good job as far as really looking at things and figuring out what don't we have in the Pro 1, 2, and 3, and what can we put in the Pro 4. And so I feel like they did some neutrals with a little bit of warmth, and they called it the Pro 4. Now, some of you also might be asking, Andrea, how does that compare to the Mega Pro 1, 2, 3, and 4? Well, I'm really glad you asked because I have all 4 of those as well. Let me show you. So I have all 4 of the Mega Pro palettes, and you can still buy these. I think they're all available still at Kohl's, and the Mega Pro 1 might be available on their site. But again, I went through, you guys, and I'm not going to show you guys all of these because I feel like not everyone has the Mega Pros, and I get it. But I went through and I swatched every shade that looked comparable. I swatched anything that could possibly be the same, and I didn't find any. Sure, might they look similar on the eyes? Probably. But are they the exact same shade in a swatch? No, they're not. Like, and maybe I'm a little biased just because I love Lorac, and I probably am. But I just really, really enjoy this palette, and I just don't think there's any repeats. Like, I don't think there's anything that like I didn't feel duped. That's the thing. I think that sometimes with brands, I feel duped when they put out a palette and, okay, well, that shade's in this one. You just called it something else, or they didn't even call it something else, and it's the same exact color. So I feel like just as a consumer, I'm like, well, then why am I spending more money on something I already have? So with Lorac, I really wanted to make sure that I wouldn't put that out there if you guys were going to be spending your money on something that you already have. And I don't feel like you are. I feel like you are getting a different palette. Now, again, on Instagram, there was a lot of talk of this looks really similar to the Anastasia Soft Glam. Sure, it does. I agree with you on that. Do I think it's like a complete copy? No. And let me tell you why. So this is Soft Glam from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is the Pro 4. First of all, you get different amounts of shades. Also, the Soft Glam is a lot more warm, and I don't think people realize that. And I think it's probably just because of the color of Lorac's packaging that kind of throws you. But with the Anastasia, you're getting like orange soda, burnt orange, sienna, mulberry. Those are really warm shades. Whereas in the Pro 4, you're getting more neutrals. Like I said, you're getting warm ginger and amaretto, but everything else is really neutral. And like Rosebud in the Pro 4 is not quite as dark as Dusty Rose, which is over here in the Soft Glam palette. And you're getting just a lot more yellows in here, like warmer golds and things like that than you are in the Pro 4. So I have both, and I don't feel like, again, that I have like the same palette. I really do feel like I have two very distinct, different palettes. So again, the formula is really nice. I would say, where does this fall compared to the other three as far as formula? This is really similar to the 1 and 2. I think with the 3, I don't really know what happened there. I love Lorac, but the 3 was not their best. I'm gonna throw that out there. The Pro 3. That's what I'm talking about. The Mega Pro 3 I love, but this one, and I still love this one. But it's definitely not as great formula-wise as the other ones. The shimmers in this one are a little bit more chunky than the shimmers in the other one. And not all of them, but like Dark Mocha and Medallion are. The mattes are still really beautiful though. But their formula on the Pro 3 wasn't my fave. Now, the Pro 4 though, it's just the same good Lorac formula that we all have known for a really long time now. I feel like when I first started watching YouTube, the 1 and 2 were just like what was popular. That was the eyeshadow palette, those two, and then like the Naked palettes from Urban Decay. Those were the palettes that everyone was talking about. And I think that we just have gotten away from really appreciating good basic palettes with a really great formula because there's just so much out there now, colorful wise, and there's just so much competition that we're all just kind of like over it. But I ain't over it, and I really like it. Another thing I really love about this that they didn't do in the other ones, in all the other Pro palettes, they give you a matte black, which I love and I get. Like every palette needs a black, sure, I get it. But in this one, they gave you Black Currant, which is a little bit more purple. It's a really nice color because you can sheer it out and it can look more purple. You can really pack it on and it looks deeper. Also Midnight. Midnight down here, it's in the shimmer row and it has some glitter in it, but overall it's a pretty matte formula. You know, it's one of those shadows that's like a matte with glitter mixed in. It's not necessarily like a pressed pigment shimmer. So let's go ahead and talk about the shimmer formula in here just really quick while we're here. Soft Pearl, Iced Rose, and Candlelight. Those shades are really like metallic type of shimmer. They look wet on the eyes and they just look absolutely stunning. Silver Mauve and Midnight. Those are the shades that are more of like a matte formula, but they have a little bit of shimmer mixed into them. And then Begonia, Merlot, and Java are still shimmers, but they're just more muted. They're not quite as metallic as like Candlelight, Iced Rose, and Soft Pearl. They're definitely a little bit more toned down as far as the shimmer goes. So overall, I really enjoyed this palette, you guys. I think that it is just a really great addition to all of my Lorac palettes and my eyeshadow palette family in general. And I love the brand. I think they were really smart about it, and I really like this palette. So I definitely recommend if you're in the market for a neutral eyeshadow palette, or you just love the Lorac formula, but you're like, is it different enough? Do I need it? I think it is. I don't feel like I said, I don't feel like I got duped by the brand. And I'm sorry I got a little off on a sassy rant about the brand thing, but I just feel that way sometimes. So anyways, you guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it and hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye!